Are you wondering your child may have autism? You've probably heard autism equals no eye contact or they talk late, but you're getting mixed signals here and there. Autism can be diagnosed as early as 12-month-old. However, most of the kids aren't diagnosed until the age of 4. Today, I wanted to share 8 early traits for autism that I learned in the past 3 years, hopefully can provide you with some clarity so you can get some help early. First, let's cover some of the well-known signals usually noticed before the age of 2. First, no eye contact, and second, they don't point at things, not responding to their names, they're not babbling at the month of 12, or they have only a few words. They might like to play alone a lot, even if there's other kids in the room. They might not show interest in other kids. If you have saying 1 or 2 of these occasionally, probably doesn't mean anything, but if it's consistent with a couple of those combined, then it's probably better to get an opinion from a pediatrician. Now let's move on to some of the overlooked signs for autism in toddlers. First, lack of imitation. Most toddlers copy everything. You clap, they clap. You smile at them, they smile back. You pretend to talk on the phone, they will pretend to talk on the phone. That's because imitation is how most kids learn. But for autistic children, they don't really copy you that much. They observe the world in a different way. Number 2, unique play. There are many different ways unique play can show. You might have heard that autistic children like to line up their toys or get upset when you move anything out of the order that they have put together. There's also more subtle type of unique play. For example, if you give an autistic child a toy car, it's possible they will focus on spinning the wheel of the toy car instead of pretend to drive the toy car around. Also, they like to repeat the same play over and over. Another type of unique play is rare pretend play. In that toy car example, instead of pretend that you drive around the toy car, they will probably focus on the specific thing about the toy car. They might not be playing the T-body set like they're doing a picnic. Instead, they will probably focus on one of the specific cup. You give them a Lego set, that might be just grabbing one of the Lego blocks. Number 3, unique speech patterns. There are also different ways that these could reveal. First, they might be a mix of pronouns. For example, they might say, "You want water," when they mean "I want water." The uniqueness may also show in their tones. Also, they might just repeat your sentence as an answer to your question. Or if you ask, "Are you hungry?" they might answer, "Are you hungry?" as an answer to your question. They might also be repeating the same story over and over because they're trying to copy a story or a line from a TV show. They would copy that exact line without fully understand what it means. Because they may be repeating themselves a lot of times, it may appear that they're talking about things out of context. For example, you are already in a park, they're still talking about what happened in the grocery store. Another way of unique speech patterns reveals in dialogues. It will be a little bit hard to continue a chit-chat type of conversation. If you ask them a question, they usually respond in short or straightforward yes or no answers. They will not try to ask a question back. It's hard to carry on a conversation. Number 4 is unique facial movement. You probably heard that autistic children may rock their bodies as a way of stimming to comfort themselves. There's also more subtle but easier to spot stimming on their face. For example, they might be blinking their eyes really hard or squishing their nose really hard. They will repeat this for up to tens of seconds or even a minute. And the key here is that they're not doing this to draw your attention. For a neurotypical child, if you observe this, most of the time it's in an interactive context. They're trying to see if you have seen them, if you found it funny. Based on a reaction, they will continue. But for an autistic child, they're just enjoying doing these facial expressions for themselves. It's a way of stimming to help them self-regulate and process sensations. It's nothing bad, so we don't have to stop them. In fact, please don't interrupt them when they're doing that. It's great for us to notice and know what's going on. Sign number 5, sensory reaction. You probably heard this also, that autistic children have sensory issues, but what does it look like? Sensory can happen in many different ways in all 5 senses. It's not just they don't like loud noises. It's not just they don't like a certain texture of food. It could be the smell of a detergent or the brightness of a room, visual clutters, too much colorful blinking lights, or even the scratchy tags on their clothing. All 5 senses can be triggered depending on the child. On the other hand, they might be also seeking sensory stuff. A lot of autistic children like deep pressure. That's why you see those deep pressure vests. It offers the strong pressure, which can calm them down. And sometimes even jumping, bouncing. I learned that even climbing on furniture provide that sensory input to their body is also a sensory seeking behavior. Also, some kids might seem like they're not bothered by pain or other types of sensations. You may see them fall really hard and not cry. Doesn't mean they don't feel the pain. It's just their internal sensory processing is also different. They will not ask for water unless they're very thirsty. They can be really hungry, but not realizing it. But generally, if they seem extremely oversensitive or totally unfazed about a certain type of sensory input, that may be a sign of sensory processing difference in their body. Overlook trait number 6, joint attention. Imagine this, you walk with your toddler in the park and you see a giant dog. A neurotypic child probably will look at the dog and then look at you and almost say, Mom, did you see that big dog? A autistic child, if they are into dogs, they will just go straight to the dog. They will not be looking at you to share that experience. This is just a difference in how they connect and share the world. 7th overlooked traits is something that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. I found that in a very old footage that give me that aha moment, which is toe walk. Toe walk can be common in toddlers when they just learn how to walk. But if they have already learned how to walk, they're past 2-3 years old and they still toe walk, that could be a sign of autism. And finally, trust your gut. I know it's a little bit cliche, but I tell you my story. I have been wondering since my child was, I think, less than 2 years old. But when I went to ask the pediatrician, they said, oh, it could be the COVID effect. Kids these days, they just don't interact with humans. They don't know how to talk to people. It's common. I've seen it every day. It's not. And then I gathered evidence and I went back there again and again. And until the 3rd time, I finally got a doctor's recommendation to get a diagnosis, which explained so many things that I observed. So just trust your inner thought, get a second opinion, and get an official diagnosis. Every child is different, and you know your child the best. I hope you found this video useful. Drop a comment if you noticed anything in your toddler, or if you have any questions. I would love to hear from you. Get diagnosed early so that we get the proper support in place, and that makes all the difference down the road. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.